Well, it's the moment that everyone has been waiting for. It is the debut of the 2025 Toyota 4Runner. I'm actually out here filming right now another review, but I got the press materials recently and I just had to share them with you guys because this doesn't happen very often. In fact, it doesn't normally happen for, more than a decade. So let's dive in and look at what was just released about the new 2025 6th gen Toyota 4Runner that we've all been waiting for. So first things first, the new Toyota 4Runner, the new 6th gen 2025 Toyota 4Runner is going to come with both versions of the iForce engine. And I think we all predicted that because we assumed, by we, I mean, all of us that were interested in the Toyota 4Runner, we all thought that it was going to be very similar to the Toyota Tacoma. So that means the 278 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque regular iForce engine, as well as the iForce Max, which makes 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, running through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now that supposedly is going to enable the Toyota 4Runner to pull 6,000 pounds, which seems to be pretty decent. That's really right around the Toyota Tacoma numbers. So I think I'm not surprised by this powertrain announcement, but how they are sort of distributed across the different trims of the 4Runner is what's really interesting. I'm going to put up a graphic on screen at various points that show you all the different trims as well as the engine options and the 4-wheel drive options. And I'll also paste this in the description below if you want to take a look at it. But there are going to be basically 9 different versions of the Toyota 4Runner. I know, 9, like who saw that coming? 9 different trims. Now, of course, there's going to be price tags associated with them, but we do know some of the details about these 9 trims. So of course, that's going to start with the SR5, and it's going to go all the way up to the, for the first time ever, Platinum trim. So the new 6th gen Toyota 4Runner is going to have a Platinum trim at the very top. Now you can imagine that I'm sure there's going to be a substantial cost involved in that, but let's talk about what each of these trims represent. So in the SR5 and then the TRD Sport and then the TRD Sport Premium, so there's this new premium distinction that kind of splits the difference between some of these trims. In the SR5, TRD Sport Premium and Limited trim, you're going to have the powertrain options, 4-wheel drive options that you see on screen. That means 2-wheel drives available, 4-wheel drives available, or in terms of Limited and Platinum, you have a sort of full-time 4-wheel drive system available with a center locking diff. Okay, and that's going to be different than the regular 4-wheel drive system, which has the low-range transfer case. Now, in the SR5 through the Sport trims, you get the iForce only, but then once you get to Limited, you get your choice between iForce and iForce Max. And then once you get to TRD Off-Road, you still have your choices up to TRD Pro and Trailhunter. When you get to TRD Pro and Trailhunter, they're iForce Max only, all the way up to Platinum, which is iForce Max only, which kind of makes sense, but I do wonder if, kind of like with the Toyota Tacoma, if that TRD Off-Road, now we drove those, go check out, I have a bunch of videos about the Toyota Tacoma because I was at the launch for the iForce engine equipped variant of the Toyota Tacoma. Those engines had no trouble motivating the Toyota Tacoma, but we still don't know a bunch about the iForce Max, okay? That's going to be coming out soon, stay tuned. But it does make sense to me that they're going to have both options available. My only concern is the price, okay? Because we've all seen the prices on those Toyota Tacomas be very high, right? They're quite high. And so it makes me wonder if that iForce Max equipped powertrain is going to be like really high. And just to reiterate, 2-wheel drive is available from SR5 up to Limited. And then of course, once you get to TRD Off-Road, it goes to 4-wheel drive only, all right? Limited and Platinum get the full-time 4-wheel drive, and then TRD Off-Road, Pro, and Trailhunter get the low-range transfer case. Now let's get into that because I know that you're here because you want to know about the off-road goodies. And weirdly, in a lot of the press materials here, we've got a lot of information about the Trailhunter model, not as much about TRD Pro, but we're going to do some speculation, don't worry. All right, TRD Off-Road, TRD Pro, and Trailhunter models come with all of the stuff that you'd expect along with some new goodies. So what does that mean? It means front sway bar disconnect is present and accounted for. We've seen this on the Land Cruiser and we've seen this on the Tacoma. So of course, front sway bar disconnect is going to make its appearance on the Toyota 4Runner. We also have the return of A-Track. So you have A-Track traction control along with a limited slip differential, locking rear diff as well. You get multi-terrain select, which is available in both for high and for low. I paused there because my brain stopped working. Downhill assist control is present and accounted for, as well as a quieter version of crawl control. Now, I can confirm, because I was at the Tacoma debut, that the quieter version of crawl control is indeed quieter. A couple years ago, when I was at Destination Outdoor, we were using crawl control on the old version. It was incredibly loud. If you've ever used the old version, you know. The new version is much quieter and much less obtrusive. It's unobtrusive, would be the opposite of obtrusive. Also, the multi-terrain monitor is available, and you have a maximum of 32 degree front approach angle and 24-degree rear departure angle. Obviously, the Trailhunter trim is new to the Toyota 4Runner. I mean, it's new to everything because it didn't exist until recently, and we haven't even seen the full sort of breadth of capability on the Toyota Tacoma, but Toyota went ahead and confirmed that, yes, of course, the Trailhunter trim is going to be available on the new Toyota 4Runner. So what does that mean? It means Old Man Emo 2.5 Old Man Emu 2.5-inch forged shocks with rear piggyback reservoir, an ARB roof rack, rock rails with additional steel skid plates, an integrated 20-inch LED light bar with rigid color selectable fog lamps, and 33-inch Toyo Open Country all-terrain tires that give you an additional 2 inches of lift at the front and 1.5 inches of lift at the rear. I'm assuming that's where those approach and departure angles come from. Oh, and there's also 3 pre-wired aux switches for, additional off-road goodies. So what about the TRD Pro? I know we're all interested in the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Well, weirdly, Toyota's press materials said almost nothing about it, other than maybe the way it looks. Like the TRD Pro information wasn't included. They went hard on the Trailhunter information, and I get that because the Trailhunter is a new model. But let's do a little speculation, because we've seen now that the Toyota 4Runner is incredibly similar to the Toyota Tacoma. So we can deduce from that it's going to have the Fox QS3 shocks, which also means that we can expect the Bilsteins on the TRD Off-Roads and the sort of TRD Tune shocks on the TRD Sports. Oh, and one more interesting thing for you guys that might consider buying a more luxurious Toyota 4Runner, the adaptive variable suspension from the Toyota Tacoma on the limited trim. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a version of that on the limited and platinum trims of the Toyota 4Runner. Now, in terms of interior tech, I think it's kind of what we've come to expect, right? So you get the 8-inch infotainment screen as a base and Toyota's giant 14-inch infotainment screen running their excellent sort of infotainment system in the upper level models. Similarly, you get the 7-inch digital gauge cluster or the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and I would imagine that they're basically going to be the same as the Toyota Tacoma, right? With maybe some bespoke graphics. None of that should be shocking. You also get Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, and then you get their new system, which sort of predicts braking and turning to help you be safer. That's called Proactive Driving Assist, and the Toyota Tacomas that we experienced last fall had it equipped, and I didn't really think that it was that noticeable, and I mean that in a good way. It wasn't like interfering with the operation of the vehicle. It was pretty much in the background operating in a way that just kept us safe as we were driving around Malibu. So I think that's a good thing. Toyota Safety Sense is kind of one of the more comprehensive and reliable safety systems, so I'm not surprised to see all of that carry over from the Tacoma to the 4Runner. Oh, and of course, check out my previous videos on the Land Cruiser and the Toyota Tacomas to get more information about those and maybe, help predict some of what we see here in the Toyota 4Runner, at least of what we don't know. Like those isodynamic seats. Are we going to see those in the TRD Pro? I think we're going to see those in the TRD Pro. So what's all of this going to cost you? I think when it comes to Toyota trucks, that's the question that we want answered. Well, we don't know yet, not officially anyway, but if the Toyota Tacoma has been any indication, it's probably going to be a lot. We do know pricing, obviously, on the iForce equipped Toyota Tacomas, and it is substantially higher. And iForce Max pricing hasn't been announced yet, although I do have it currently. We just can't share it yet because of embargo stuff. But like we know, we expect the pricing to be higher. I think you can expect that as well when it comes to the Toyota 4Runner. It's going to be pricier. That makes sense in a way because this is a much newer and more updated vehicle than the one it replaces. However, if you like the old one and you like the reliability of the 5th gen Toyota 4Runner, maybe now's a good time to pick one up. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this 6th gen Toyota 4Runner. What do you think of the powertrains? What do you think of the off-road capability? What do you think of the way it looks? I mean, obviously, let's talk about the way it looks in the comments. I'll join you down there. Let's talk about the way it looks in the comments. And 6 gens in 40 years. I can't believe it. It's finally here, the 6th gen Toyota 4Runner. But I want to hear from you. You guys let me know what your thoughts are. I've got my own. I'll share them in the comments. Maybe I'll pin one at the top and we'll have a conversation down there. Expect more to come, not just about the Toyota 4Runner, but also about some upcoming Toyota models in general. We've got some additional information about Land Cruiser, as well as the iForce Max equipped Tacoma, as well as the Toyota Crown Signia. So all of this information is going to be trickling out over the next month. So stay tuned, stay excited. I know I am. Yes, the price increases do stink a little bit, but I love the Toyota 4Runner. I love the 5th gen Toyota 4Runner. And I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of one of these new 2025 6th gen Toyota 4Runners. It just sounds cool. It just sounds fun to say. So let me know, were you satisfied with the debut, what you saw, or were you disappointed? I would love to hear from you guys. As always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the good things. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next video.